What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today, Lions Talk Live, Monday show edition. And you know what? I think we've got to talk about a few options here for the Detroit Lions when it comes down to the final 53-man roster, because about a week away from now, the Lions are going to have to make some real hard choices. You get it. I get it. Everybody who's a Detroit Lions fan, maybe even a fan of other teams, are watching this team and saying, hey, we could use a little bit of that defensive line help. I hope they get rid of that guy on the offensive line. The Lions have a lot of talent at multiple spots and positions of need throughout most of the NFL. The running back room, I think going into training camp, most of us thought, hey, this is going to be a pretty good group. It's going to end up being a very good group. Quarterback position, I think your top two is pretty good. The other two are probably working for maybe State Farm come next week. Whatever it is, we're going to dive on into all of that and maybe just a little bit more as we get into today's updated 53-man roster predictions. And it'll be interesting to see what you guys on the Duke Crew have to say about it. All right, real quick before we get into that, though, you guys know that we got the jibber jabber portions of stuff. So, hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 70 subs away from hitting 7,400. So if you could help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you enjoy the content of the video or the channel, go ahead and consider hitting that thumbs up button, that like button. It takes half second of time. It's free of charge. And you know what? Hey, it helps us grow the channel exponentially. So hopefully you'll consider doing that. We try to get every video between 200 to 300 or more thumbs up, likes, etc. Last but not least, if you are considering looking for a real good book to read, at least in my biased opinion, hey, consider going to Amazon.com and typing in Kajora or Kajora book. Go ahead and purchase it, read it, and if you would be so kind, if you enjoy it, leave a great review. All right, with all the formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our first segment of the day. If you're new to the channel, that would be 5 headlines now, and then we've got some NFC news and notes before we get over into the main topic of the day. So let's get into 5 headlines now. All right, 5 headlines now, and we're starting off on kind of a Debbie Downer note here. Detroit Lions lose wide receiver Tre'Quan Smith to hand injury. Dan Skipper's ankle, though, is okay. Detroit Free Press story by Dave Burkett. Tre'Quan Smith, there was some real hope when we signed him. It was just like a couple weeks after the Super Bowl that this guy might be able to come in, kind of resurrect his career, help with the wide receiver room and such. It just hasn't, for whatever reason, it just hasn't mounted. It hasn't happened. And unfortunately, now Smith is going to be out for some time. They don't have a time frame on it, but it does. My anticipation is he's going to be just cut from the team or put on the IR. Either or. Could he still help the team? It's possible. But so far in 2 preseason games, he's had a ton of targets and not bunch production. All right, Lions urged to shop versatile veteran for, quote, sneaky return on trade market. The heavy story by Dave Holcomb. So as we've already mentioned in the show, and now it seems like we've been talking about for a few weeks, Detroit Lions got a lot of things other teams want. In this particular story, the topic of trade is Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds is, we'll dive into, is in a battle to make this team. I think on the 53-man roster, your top 3 running backs, and I'm not going to give any spoilers just yet, are pretty sound. They're not going anywhere. The depth chart probably isn't moving a whole lot. After that, though, the 4th spot, unless the Lions should keep 5, and I don't think they will, then yes, you might be in a position to shop one of these guys around. Let's see if Craig, the Hitman Reynolds, is on board for a trade. All right, Lions head coach Dan Campbell opens up about versatile rookie running back. Athlon Sports by Dylan Graff. So you probably already know who that is, but Sion Vaki has made a huge impression. And everybody across the league, you are starting to see national media pick up on this guy and talk about him. Yes, he hasn't made the roster yet. Yes, he hasn't played in an official NFL game yet, but he is turning some heads with his mass, his size, his agility, his speed, his ability to catch the ball. And that's something that most people did not know about him unless you really were, in the same conference, USC and such, watching some of those games where he did get in. And I'll tell you this, watching him in preseason is no different than watching him when he made the move from safety to running back / slot receiver for his college team. And just, man, the kid's been great. We all get it. And you want to find out what Dan Campbell has to say on it, go ahead and check out the story, and you'll find out just maybe a little bit more. All right, best and worst pro football focused grades for the Lions win over the Chiefs. USA Today, story by Zach Moran. So let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. Here's where I think some stuff is really going to affect the final 53-man roster. Jamarco Jones had the highest grade of any of the Detroit Lions on offense. He is a backup tackle, signed a week ago, and he had an outstanding performance. If you go back and watch the tape, I know when we first signed him, I said, hey, I get this guy's got a temper issue. He's had some issues with it in the past. It's got him kicked off of a few teams. But if he can mature enough to where he controls that, you'd have legitimately maybe not one of the best offensive linemen in the league, but you have a starting NFL caliber tackle. He's also a swing tackle, so he can play left or right side. He had an 86 overall grade. And let me tell you, as you guys know, guys like him do not grow on trees. So he's going to put a lot of pressure on the team to keep him. And who knows, man, you might have to get rid of somebody who's been a familiar favorite in order to keep him. So we'll dive into that. Hendon Hooker, heck of a performance. Grade-wise, 83.3. Tom Killer Kennedy, 82.1. And here's a question for you guys. Do you think Tom Kennedy should be in the running to make this team? I think he's been around, obviously, for a few years. Is he going to be somebody that can supplant somebody else to be one of the 5 or 6 receivers kept? I'll be interested in your guys' thoughts on that. Isaiah Williams, 76.6, and Zonovan Knight rounded out the top 5 offensive players at 70.8. Now, the worst of the offensive players, probably no real huge surprises here. Jake Funk, he had some funk on him, 38.9. Kingsley Uguaga, boy, I killed that name, 49.6. Nate Sudfeld, not so great Sudfeld, 50.5. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 51.1. And tight end James Mitchell, 52.3. I actually graded him higher than that, but hey, to each their own. Top defensive players, in case you were wondering, Abraham Beauplan, 90.1. Now, he's also somebody we just signed a few weeks ago. You guys heard me hype him up. I really like the guy. I like the fact he can play offense, special teams, and defense. Guy's got wheels, as you could see against Kansas City. He's got some pursuit. He can wrap up. He's got a lot of upside, in my opinion, and we'll get into 53. Boy, he could be pushing a couple other people into possible trade scenarios. Safety, Lauren Strickland, 84.1. Unfortunately for Lauren, I think he's in a tough spot. I think he's the odd man out, but he played great. Linebacker Ben Newman, 82.6. Another linebacker, Ty Summers, 79.2. In defensive end, Josh Pascal, I thought he played real well. I know some people maybe didn't notice some of his impacts, but I thought he played real well, and he did get a 78.7. So, worst defensive players. Matthew Betts, 39, flat. So, yeah, not a great performance. He did have the sack. I gave my thoughts on that. He did some good, but he did grade out pretty poorly. Isaac Ukwa, 40.9. So, he was somebody that I thought had a real explosive first game. You could see, especially in when he had to move and get used in pulls or stunts, he did not perform well. If you watch the tape, he had a 40.9. Defensive tackle, Chris Smith, 44.2. CJ Moore, safety, we all know him. He's been around for a while, 47.6, or excuse me, 47 point flat. And I will say this, I don't think he's going to make the roster. I know he's a special teams star. He's done so much for the team. I just think, man, on such a talented team, he's not showing up enough. And then the final one would be cornerback Javian Goodrive, 47, also flat. So, all right, let's move on from that. And now we'll get to the last one, and that'd be Detroit Lions quarterback Hendon Hooker, quote, continues to chip away from the ice and get better. Detroit Free Press, Dave Paquette, staying busy is Mr. Paquette. It is his time of year. And I will say this, I know both quarterbacks look exponentially better than they did week one against the Giants. And that's what you want, right? You want to see progression. If you're a coach or fan, you saw something one week, can I do something better the following week? I think Hendon Hooker did. You saw the offense move and hum. He even slid this week. I guess what his mama said actually got to him. So where he goes from here, I don't know, but I really do think the Detroit Lions would be real well served if they went ahead and tried to give him 75% of the final preseason game, just to, again, try to get him as acclimated to the NFL as quickly as possible. All right, with the 5 headlines out of the way, now let's go over and get to the next segment, and that is the NFC news and NFC North news and notes. Man, I get tongue-tied twisted on that one. All right, moving on here. After Mile High misery, legitimate concerns about Packers. Sports Illustrated story by Bill Huber. So what did you guys think? Did you watch that preseason game? It's preseason, so I don't ever want to overblow anything. But I will say, if you're a Packers fan, you might have a few worries coming out of that one. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this third preseason game. My opinion, 99% of the league is just going to say, hey, if you're player 35 through 1, you're not playing this game. We really want to keep it just to the guys battling for those final roster spots to get out there. They don't want to risk anybody significant getting hurt. Heck, maybe you could say on a group of 90, it's going to be player 60 through 90 playing, and that's it. That I don't know, but I would say Packers are in a tough spot because they need to find some answers, and they may not want to push it and get into just 2 weeks before the regular season, anybody getting chipped up a little bit. All right, cornerback Stephon Gilmore reportedly signing with the Minnesota Vikings. This is from CBS Sports. And, hey, the Minnesota Vikings, they might have had some really bad offseason luck, and some you wouldn't wish on even your worst enemy. So they've gone through it, but I will say this for the Vikings. They're doing what they can to come out here and compete. And they know, hey, they know they've got a lot of injuries. They know they've got some unfortunate circumstances that have come after them. They also are probably aware that they are number 4 out of 4 teams in the NFC North. They're going to do what they can, though, to try to chip their way up and try to make this as competitive season as possible. All right, why the Patriots reportedly traded Matthew Judon to the Falcons over Bears, Boston.com, story by Connor Rye. So I thought this was an interesting read. I was not aware that the Bears were as firmly in the running to acquire him as they were. Apparently, it came down to his decision. The Patriots, and surprisingly so, they left it up to him. They had a group of 3 teams that they really narrowed it down to. The Detroit Lions were not among them, and he chose the Falcons. He considered the Bears, but his logic why the Bears were not a runner for him. He did not think, nor did the Patriots, that they will make the playoffs or be somebody that has an opportunity to go out and win in the Super Bowl. So for that reason, he picked the Falcons over the other teams. He's actually thinking the Falcons have a chance this year. He might be right, because if they can win that division, you know what? You got a home playoff game, if nothing more. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day. Let's get into it. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. So, un momento, por favor, and then I'll narrate and walk us through it. 1 second, please. And there we go. I get some of you guys watch this on your phone or whatever, so it may be harder to see. I apologize for that. So real quick, if somebody's in red, that means they're either being flexed to a secondary position. So if you look at quarterback right at the top, you got Isaiah Williams. I've got him as our emergency number 3 quarterback in this scenario because I'm going to keep him You're also going to have some other guys that are maybes. I think they're in the running to make the team, but it's going to come down to what happens this final week or so. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Lions Talk Live, 53-man roster predictions, and not a whole lot of surprise probably with quarterback number 1 or 2. You got Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker. It's nothing against Nate Sudfeld. I just think if the younger player is even, he's leaving the vet behind. So Hendon Hooker, he's there. I think he's shown strong development. Nate Sudfeld did as well, but I think he got more upside with Hendon Hooker. Yes, I've got Isaiah Williams as your flex number 3 emergency quarterback. All right, we do have a bit of a change, excuse me, to the running back room. We got Gibbs as your number 1, David Montgomery number 2. You could really say, hey, they're both the number 1 running back. I think you're talking semantics when it comes down to who's going to be which one or whatever. Here, let me make this full screen, try to make it a little bit easier to read. So I think both guys can be number 1. Simon Vaki, though, I did move up 1 slot to number 3. I think he is now superseded Craig Reynolds. Just he can do things. It's nothing against Craig Reynolds. It's just Vaki is very athletic, very strong. He's versatile. He's a big target as well. I will say this with Craig Reynolds, though. I think Knight has pushed it to where it's going to come down to minor details between Craig Reynolds and Knight. So who's going to ultimately win it, I don't know. But Zonovan Knight has done a real good job, in my opinion, these last couple weeks to really close the gap. I once thought Craig Reynolds was, I don't want to say a lock, but a heavy favorite to win the number 3 or 4 spot on the depth chart. Now, I'm not so sure with that. That also means I have Jefferson and Funk on the outside looking in. I don't think Funk has any chance. Jefferson, probably even less chance to make the team. We'll see what happens, though. All right, let's move on to fullback. We're not going to carry at least one person to specifically play that position, in my opinion. To me, it'll be a culmination of Malcolm Rodriguez and the aforementioned Abraham Beauplan to be your fullbacks. There could be some scenarios where maybe they use Aleem McNeil or somebody else, maybe Dan Skipper, somebody along those lines to go ahead and achieve that. I could see, too, where potentially they use Giovanni Manu as a fullback, and I won't be surprised if that comes to fruition at all. All right, tight end, Sam Laporta is your entrenched number 1 tight end. Brock the Hitman Wright is number 2. We've added James Mitchell. Parker Hess, I didn't think had a great performance throughout the practices this week, nor in the this weekend. So James Mitchell currently I have is the number 3. So a lot could change here. I could see where Mitchell falls out and doesn't even make the team. So we're going to have to pay attention to this. But maybe Parker Hess is number 4, Malcolm Rodriguez number 5, Dan Skipper number 6 in these scenarios. So we'll have to see. But this would be consistent with what the team has done last year. All right, wide receiver room, Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 1, Jameson Williams, number 2, Khalif Raymond, number 3, Isaiah Williams, number 4. He's up from number 5 a week ago. He is emergency quarterback number 3. Caden Davis, I didn't have him ranked around the team. I had him on the outside looking in, but watching his performances this week in practice, watching his results yesterday, his speed has allegedly increased to now where he's running 4.415. So is that a major difference from when he graded out at the combine or his team's pro day? No, it's not, but it is noticeably faster. And you know what? He is a big body, nearly 6'2". He got wheels. We've talked a ton about how Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, Isaiah Williams are basically the same guy. This Caden Davis would give you a little bit of a variation. Him and Jameson Williams would be basically your X receivers. I also have Gibbs as your basically number 6 and Darius Fountain out. Last week I had him in. This week I have him out. And yes, Donovan Peoples-Jones to me has not shown enough on film to make the team. I just don't see any separation from this guy when against DBs. All right, let's get into the offensive line. Taylor Decker, your number 1 tackle, left tackle. Penei Sewell would be your backup. Dan Skipper, your number 3. And I've added this week Giovanni Manu because his performance, you guys have seen it against Kansas City. You saw him against the Giants. His performance has gotten better and better and radically so in limited time. I think Giovanni Manu, I'm not going to say he's going to be a starter this year or anything like that, but he is by far already superseded my expectations for growth for the year. And let that sink in for the year. I think where you get this guy, if he continues to develop under Hank Fraley or whoever else is working with him, then you get to the middle of the year, this guy might be a legitimate backup. Then maybe by the end of the year, you feel pretty sound about him going forward. Now, I want you to look at just below this, maybe Jamarco Jones. I already mentioned him. I think the Lions are in a very, very good spot here. You're going to have to make a choice between Jamarco Jones and Dan Skipper. One of these guys I don't think is going to be here. And I think you're splitting hairs, but I like the fact Jamarco Jones is very strong. If you watch that Kansas City game, he is consistent with his past performances in his career. He's good against the pass. He's good against the run. He can block both, and he's a swing tackle. Dan Skipper, I think, is pretty good against the blocking for the run. He's okay against the pass. Yes, he's also a swing player, but he can also play guard. To be fair to Marco Jones, I don't know if he can play guard. Somebody else with more knowledge about him would have to point that out to me. But I think this final week is going to determine if one of these guys stays and goes. The only other scenario I could see out there is if one of the other rookies or younger players on the offensive line that I have projected as a backup are gone, so we can keep both Skipper and Jones. And I wouldn't be upset if we kept both. All right, Graham Glasgow is your left guard number 1. Giovanni Manu, left guard number 2. Frank the Tank Ragnow, your starting center. Duke Clemens, I did have originally, when I watched the Kansas City game live and commentated for you guys, I had him maybe losing some ground here for the primary backup spot. But you know what? After I watched the game tapes a little bit more, I felt a whole lot better about saying, yeah, he's I think, pretty entrenched as the starting, as the backup center. Kingsley Equin, I thought had gained some ground onto him where maybe it was be a conversation. But when you rewatch the game and watch it slower, when you're not just trying to call out the plays, you do see a little bit more struggles from Kingsley. So for this reason alone, I think as of right now, Duke Clemens is entrenched as your backup center, and he has performed pretty well. All right, Kevin Zettler will be your starting right guard. Christian Mahogany needs a strong performance in this final week or so to be really the backup right guard. But I would say this, if they move on from him, I will not be surprised. I don't know what the illness is. I'm not going to go there. I know there's a lot of speculation in social media and YouTube media or whatever. I'm not going to touch that one with the 10-foot pole. But if he doesn't have a strong performance, that's where I think Dan Skipper and Jamarco Jones both make it. And there is a scenario where Christian Mahogany would be out. All right, right tackle, Panay Sewell, 1, Dan Skipper, 2, Kobe Scoresdale, number 3. There's also a situation where I think Jamarco Jones could make it and Scoresdale could be out. I just think Scoresdale's young enough and shown enough growth where I would not be in a hurry to get rid of him. So it'll be real telling what the coaching staff does from there. All right, moving on to the defensive side. Aiden Hutchinson, probably not a big surprise here. He's your right end, number 1. James Houston, number 2. But I will say this, Mitchell Ague has closed the gap, in my opinion, on James Houston. I obviously am a huge James Houston fan, but I'm going to say this. There are a couple guys on this defensive line, especially flex backers, ends, that could come in and do something similar to what James Houston does. I think James Houston is still the best pass rusher, pure pass rusher on the team. But he is unfortunately not evolving beyond that. He's still kind of, I guess you could say, a one-trick pony. I like him. I'd keep him. But Mitchell Aguye's performances have been strong enough where I think he's in the conversation to supplant Houston. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, because I like Houston. But just being as a coach, not a fan, I would say the conversation has become quite interesting there. All right, left end, Marcus Davenport, 1, Josh Pascal, number 2. And yes, I do think Pascal has performed very well. DJ Reader is your defensive tackle eye or interior, number 1. Levi Onwuzurike, 2. Kyle Pico, number 3. Let's see, DTS, so your sprint tackle or your slice tackle, the guy that's going to put more pressure on the quarterback. Aleem McNeil, Broderick Martin are going to back each other up. Marcus Davenport, I did have him also as an end, as you guys can see, but I did put also here Mekhi Wingo. So Mekhi Wingo would be a number 3 to both ends, so right end or left end. He would also be a backup defensive tackle, probably more in the line of the DTS. So somebody like that could be in there. Nate Lynn's on the IR for the year, but I do like him. See, right outside linebacker, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez. let's see, middle backer or Mike Macker, Jack Campbell, Jalen Reeves-Maben. I don't really think he would be there. I just didn't know where else to flex him or put him. There could be a scenario where you have him at either the outside backer spots. We all probably get this. If there's really a backup to the middle linebacker, it's probably going to be Anzalone, maybe some scenarios for Derek Barnes. Let's see, your slot backer, that'd be Derek Barnes and Beauplan. Cornerback position, no changes here. Carlton Davis with Rakestraw backing him up. Terrion Arnold on the opposite side. Kendall Vildor, let's see, on his backup. I thought him and Dorsey both played very well. There could be a scenario where they keep both Vildor and Dorsey, in my opinion. Let's see, nickel back Meek Robertson, Rakestraw backing him up. Kirby Joseph as your free safety. Brandon Joseph, no relation, backing him up. And I do think Brandon Joseph, there's been speculation, could he be in the running to make it to the team? I think with his performance this week, he's going to make the team, and he'll be a backup to one of the sides or the other. Brian Branch will be your starting strong safety, and Iffy Melifano will back him up. No changes here in the special teams. In fact, Jack Fox continues to prove that he might be the best punter in the league. Jake Bates, anybody who had questions about him, I'm going to guess at this point those have been subsided, and you're going to say, hey, Jake Bates is the future kicker for probably a long time for the Detroit Lions unless something unforeseen happens. Let's see, and then Scott Daly is going to be your long snapper. I still am going to say that for kick and punt returns, Vaki, Raymond, or some combination there within, maybe Williams would be your punt and kickoff returners. All right, you guys, you've heard what I've had to say on it. Let's see what you guys got. Let me go ahead and get the screen back up. Let's head over to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. I know I'm behind, I can see, by a few comments here. So let me get to the top and get this thing going. All right, Duke Crew, what say you? JDC, good morning all. Back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Bubble, toil, and trouble, exclamation point. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And good morning to you too, Bo. JDC, go Lions, go Tigers. Skip the Bears. All right, we'll go with that. Papa Noel, haven't seen you in a long time. Good morning to all. Go Lions. Same to you. Hopefully that's an outstanding morning. See, Quentin, greetings and salutations, y'all. Man, oh man, this team is going to say bye to some strongly talented players, hoping we trade for a wide receiver. It is possible for sure that we could make a trade for a receiver or somebody else. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of guys on that offensive line, the backups, that I think a lot of teams would be just chomping at the bit to go get. So is that going to be a part of the Brad Holmes plan and strategy? It could be. It'll to be a great debate between you guys and everybody to hear your thoughts. Who do we keep? Who do we go on from? If we were to move on from James Houston, I'm going to go out on a wild guess and guess there would be teams that would want to get him. I don't think we're going to get rid of him, but I do think there is a window of discussion there. All right, Matthew Greaves, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Super Dome, Super Squawk. All right, Super Walks. All right, bye. I'm not sure what you're doing there, but I'll go with it. Okay, Grace. All right, there. Thank you, Matthew. Mike the Marine, Gunny. Howdy, Dan, the Duke Crew. Our second team fared well against KC ones. I'm excited. Woo, woo, woo. And just for you, Gunny, just for that, I think we're all excited, by the way, by how the team played. I think we're all that excited for how the 2s and 3s played for Detroit. All right, Voltron Brand Holmes needs some real credit for building a team with so much cap space, yet so much talent. And that probably doesn't get mentioned enough. Think about how much money we still have to use on new contracts or to acquire players. It's what he's going to do with that. That's, I think, the big question mark right now. All right, John, good morning. All hope is well. Same to you, John. Hopefully it's an outstanding morning. Brent, good morning, everyone. Going to be some tough cuts this year. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I know we talked about it yesterday. We talked about it during the game, also on Saturday. This may just be the deepest Detroit Lions team ever. And, let me rephrase that. Since the 1957 championship. I'm not gonna touch on any of those teams because you won world championships. I'm not going to say you weren't talented or deep. But at least in my lifetime, and I'm 52, this is probably the deepest team I've ever seen. All right, Moodskar, happy Monday, Duke Crew, exclamation point. I'd say Isaiah Williams cemented a spot. Vaki, number 3, running back, Hooker at number 2. I'd agree with all of the above, man. Yeah, and could you go ahead and put Cleef Raymond, Isaiah Williams out there, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, absolutely. You can put them all out there at the same time. It would be a little different, but I'm going to trust in Brad Holmes. If he's putting them all out there, he has faith in all of them to perform. All right, John, we are going to be dang close to being unbeatable. Let's hope so. If we go, undefeated this year in the regular season and the postseason, I'll be happy. I'll be more happy if we go undefeated in the postseason, though. All right, let's see. John, Thunder and Lightning, I concur. Moonscar, FYI, if you delete your comment, Dan still sees it. Okay, something I did not know, to be honest. John, my wife thinks that I am asking stupid or I mean dumb statements. All right, well, hey, everybody has their own opinion. And Jen tells me all the time, mine is not always the best. All right, Captain America, good morning, everyone. Back at you, Captain America. How you doing? See, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl, woo, woo, woo. All of the above, and good morning to you, too. Mike DeMarine, almost forget to hit the thumbs up. Do it for Dan. Woo! Do it for the Do Crew. Do it for the channel. Yeah, on my screen, I can't see what the thumbs up are or the likes are. I can tell you there's a little over 500 people watching. So, hey, we're having a good morning here. It is a Monday. Let's see, John, dominate. I think that's what we're going to do this year. We're going to do a lot of it. I think there are some real strong teams for us to play. A lot of division teams, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota potentially, all going to be tough games every time we play them. But to find more than 6 or 7 losses on our schedule, unless we really implode, I think that's going to be tough. So I think, we're going to go to the playoffs again this year, potentially contend for the number 1 seed. So, anyone else think we trade some of the D or O-line depth for other toys for the team? Yeah, I think there's a real possibility there. See, Bo, very, very frightening indeed. I'll go with that. Let's see, Michael, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation points, Super Bowl or bust, one pride, woo, woo, and good morning to you too, Michael. Patrick, I think Sudfeld is gone unless he makes it to the practice squad. I wonder if the third quarterback is any better. Then Sudfeld should be gone and the new quarterback put on the practice squad. I'll say this with Sudfeld. The coaching staff clearly has some sort of belief in him. And I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. I'm just going to say that's what I'm thinking they have. And my anticipation is he's probably on the practice squad. I just don't see another team picking him up. All right, John, let's go Lions. Woo, woo, woo. Good morning. Let's see, Stephanie, good morning all. I am wondering if we do nothing with the receiving corps and just stand pat. Maybe Ben has something up his sleeve. That could be. That is a possibility. I would say that you're probably more right than wrong with that because, I'll just say I don't know what's going on. I will say that I think Ben Johnson must have something. And, I don't know what his plan is. Me neither. But I think he's got some sort of plan where maybe he uses, like we talked about, the wide receivers. Let me rephrase that. Some of the running backs or the tight ends in wide receiver roles. I could see something like that emerging where something, we're not as reliant on the wide receivers or the quote-unquote wide receivers to fill those spots in the offense. See, John, Stephanie, I believe that you are right. I concur. Jess, I played Madden yesterday with my kid. He loves the game like I used to. I see EA Sports still disrespects our team. I have heard some people talk about it. I know some of the guys on Woodward and some of the other content creators that we all chat with, they're more into it than I am currently. I used to play it like a gajillion hours a day. But I know that it's been one of the big jokes that the Lions could be in the Super Bowl and win it 20 times in a row, and Madden ratings would still be terrible for the team. All right, Bo, something up his sleeve, question mark. Who, the villain? But of course, 100%. Yeah, I think all will be revealed in time, especially when you go out on the field against the Rams. See, John, woo, 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 give me some Sheila. All right, you want some Sheila? I'll give you some Sheila. I just got to find her real quick. So give you a little Sheila Hamp. Woo! And there you go. All right, so back to the comments. We will go. Scrolling back up. All right, Patrick, Stephanie Wilder, good morning. Back at you. And I agree. I think Ben waits until after the third preseason game to see what's out there. Yeah, it could be that too. It could be they look to acquire 1 or 2 more parts. Absolutely, 100%. Bo, good morning, all. Bo, I hope we are the villains. Yes, we are the villains, I believe. Let's see, Frank the Tank. What is up, Doe East Side? Woo, woo, woo. Go Lions, 100% Tank, and good morning. Bo, we are the champions. Let's hope so. At the end of the year, let's hope we are the champs. See, Big Eddie, I'm liking what AG has shown this preseason, which hasn't been much. This defense might be a world apart from last year. Yeah, I think it's going to be vastly different. We've all seen the secondary has clearly improved. First string, second string, etc. Now, can you get all the other parts to mesh together, clean up some of the miscommunications like we saw a few against Kansas City, and that's going to happen when you have new guys coming in to roles. But I think this defense will be pretty good. Frank the Tank, the best defense will be the way better than last year. But you all need to remember this is an offensive league. Yeah, everything is geared towards the offense to succeed. The NFL no longer wants to see 12 to 7 games or anything like that. They want them to be high scoring. They know that keeps the fans engaged, etc. Plus, don't forget the $1 billion business that is fantasy football. They want to see that succeed as well. France, good day all. Stephanie Wielder, I'm going to guess you may be very correct on that. Yeah, I think we're all agree that Ben Johnson is going to somehow incorporate the tight ends, wide receivers tight ends, running backs to alleviate some of the need for wide receiver. See, John, game over. We'll be the Super Bowl champs. I'm going to hold you to that, John. AJ, good greetings and salutations, Duke crew. Woo! And good morning to you too. Tank Hooker could not hold Jared Goff's jock strap. Go Lions. Now, at this point, yeah, he's still developing and growing. It takes most quarterbacks time to evolve. See, Moonscar, Dan, any more news on the possibility of a Taylor Heineke? Question mark. I saw he played over the weekend, which was a bit discouraging in hopes of bringing him here. I have not heard anything. I haven't seen any other reports. Moonscar, I don't really think we're going to have any kind of movement on a quarterback situation, if there is one, until after the final preseason games. A lot of the free agents are waiting to see if a spot opens up. If someone like Taylor Heineke is going to be cut, I'm going to guess the Atlanta Falcons are going to try to trade him to gain something in return. So maybe we make a move, maybe we don't. We'll find out in time. See, Darcy, greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you. Bo, it's official. Legatron is the real deal. Legatron, yes, it is. And I know some of you guys said, hey, get some shirts made with that. I'll talk to Jen. She starts school or training, getting ready for schools to open back up. So they've got a big meeting all week long in the morning. So she's got to get back up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Said, yeah, looked at her. It's like, no more sleeping in. Trey, what's good? What's good with you? Hopefully a good one. See, Frank the Tank, now there you go. I would like to see Heineke over here. That's a godlike to see in a Lions uniform. Yeah. Backup role. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. And I get you got a little, what do you call it? A spell check or autocorrect or whatever there. So, Trey, Bo Booth, all hail Legatron. Yes, I see what you're doing there. See, Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Oh, yeah. I still think the Lions should try and trade for some of this talent for a wide receiver and backup quarterback. Woo! And that, I do think there's some possibility there. I do think they may try to make that happen. See, Bo, Avery, Spirit of Detroit, anointed him last night from an undisclosed location. Okay, we'll thank you for that. See, Michael, Stephanie, I agree. Ben Johnson knows what he has to work with. Yeah, and he may just be thinking, hey, I know some of you guys said move Sam Laporta to the X receiver. That could happen. I could see scenarios where that shakes out. I've already mentioned, hey, having Gibbs or Baki as a wide receiver. Frank the Tank, don't get me wrong. I like Hooker, but this running quarterback crap, do not like this team is built for a pocket passer, not a running quarterback. We all need to understand this. Okay, we'll go with that. Big Daz, I like the Legatron name. Yes, all hail Legatron. I gotta come up with a meme for that I can play on the channel. I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's see, Moonscar, Dallas kicker Aubrey with another 66-yard leg. Would love to see Bates smash one longer during the season. I think at some point we're going to get an opportunity to see that leg. So wait and see, my friend. Wait and see. See, Frank, take a look. I was at one training camp practice, and all your hair is everybody cheering about the offense. I'm one of those guys. I'm old school. I love defense. Best defense is going to be epic. Yeah, I think the defense is going to make a noticeable improvement this year. Ken, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. Tough decisions ahead to make their 53-man roster or 53 and practice squad. Superdome, no bust. Woo! And I agree, Ken. And the guys know it, man. They all know they're fighting for the same spots. somebody is going to not be the happiest guy, and somebody's going to be playing for another team with a chip on their shoulder, saying, man, why did you get rid of me? Frank the Tank, whoever thinks Aaron Glenn is not a good coach, defense coach, is crazy to me. He's the second best coach on this team, even ahead of Ben Johnson. Okay, yeah, I think AJ is going to turn some heads this year. Moodscar, Bo, love it. Legatron, it will be 100%. Curtis, what do you got? Hi, Coach. Haven't heard much of James Houston. Is he in danger not making the team? I think there is some potential there. Just you got to be available, and he has been, unfortunately, beat up last year, then a little bit this year. He might be on the wrong side of this thing. We'll all know in about 8 days. Big Daz, it's time to get our boys ready for the season. The last preseason game doesn't mean anything, maybe for a couple of bubble players to make their last pitch to make it. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there, Big Daz. Chris Steele, what up, Doe? What up to you too, Man of Steel? How you doing? See, Gunny, howdy, Kurt from North Carolina. There we go. Silver Server, good morning, Coach and everyone else. Just here listening. Well, listen on in, my friend, and have a good day. Big Daz, what up, Man of Steel? Frank Tank, beside our starters, I do not know who's going to make the 53-man roster. In my opinion, they all look good to me. Go Lions. Yeah, I think a couple of guys like Calhoun has no shot, in my opinion. There's a couple of guys that are probably clearly out, but the vast majority, like you're saying, Tank, they're all meshed in there. Yeah, there's going to be some tough cuts. See, Silver Server, and hit that thumbs up when you get a chance. Yeah, hit the like button if you would, pretty please. Por favor. 9 drinks, let's go. Woo! Thumbs up. Thank you for that, 9 drinks. Curtis, what do you got? What up, though, Kurt Steele? There you go. Ed, good morning, Coach and Do Crew. Excited to see what happens today and this week. I hope Brad signs a quarterback. He might just. We will wait and see what is revealed this week. Brent, what up, though, Kurt? Kurt Lee, Brent DeWitt, what's good? Well, there you go. 9 drinks. Kurt, Monday morning, good morning to you all. Dave, Betts had a nice sack and a lot of rushes. He did have a lot of rushes, my friend, 100% there. Kurt, Mike the Marine, Gunny, good morning from North Carolina. All right, good morning to everybody. See, Hookadoo, good morning, Coach of the Do Crew. Woo! Never fear, Legatron is here. One pride, there you go. See, Big Daz better get to sign a quarterback so he can learn the playbook. Yeah, I wonder if or when they would do it. My guess is after the final preseason game. See, Don Hendon Hooker, our backup, and a damn good one. Yeah, he could be. I think the more he gets an opportunity to grow and develop, he's going to be like a lot of these Brad Holmes picks in the late to mid rounds. They all seem to develop nicely. Kurt Steele, a lot better showing from our Lions this week. Yeah, they look pretty good and noticeably better. See, 9 drinks, Betts secretly shined. I'll go with that. Hookadoo, good morning, Man of Steel. Ed, the Lions need a proven pocket passer, so I hope Brad signs the one this week. He might, man. But remember, after the final preseason game, you are going to have 2 weeks to try to get any new quarterback ready for the Rams. If it's a veteran quarterback, that should be enough time. See, Don Hendon Hooker is the answer. We might just be. Ed Hooker is. All right, buddy. Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, buddy. Bo, I'm getting Kajora, Coach. I finished Shogun recently. Love Japanese culture exposition. Yeah, so it's actually based on historical facts, but there is obviously some non-historical aspects to it. So let me know what you think of it, and hopefully you like it. Thanks for going and getting it. All right, Ed Hooker still looks like a college quarterback. He was a read and run quarterback. The Lions are not built that way. If Goff goes down, you need a quarterback similar to him. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. See, Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Same to you, Anthony. Hopefully it's a great one as always. See, Motor City Polly, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! From Central PA. Well, good morning to you. Hopefully you have an outstanding day, my friend. Hookadoo, morning, Anthony. Go Lions. Don, Hookett looked like a kid who sent out for a football whose feet are just getting under him. Expected. Yeah, no worries about Hooker. He just looked as good as Caleb, Jalen Daniels, etc. Yeah, it's one of the hardest spots in all of pro sports to play is the quarterback position. It does take time to grow, and he's really, in my opinion, a rookie this year. Derek, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. I think Baki was a great draft pick, and he will be a capable running back if Gibbs and Montgomery goes down. Yeah, the fact that he can pass block, I'm not going to say he's great at pass blocking, but for a rookie, he's above average. The route running is pretty good. The speed, the agility, and obviously the jump cuts he has. He's got a whole lot of upside. You can see why they traded to get this guy, and I think it was a great move. And I don't hate Hooker, but his game is better suited for the UFL. That's not a bad thing. Okay, we'll go with that. Don, some Detroit fans give up on players too quick, i.e. Levi, J-Mo. I remember some calling Hutch a bust because he didn't have 12 sacks in his first 9 games. It's the world we now live in. That people want you to perform and perform now. They a lot of times they don't want to look for a year or two down the road. But to your point, Levi appears to be ready to make a breakout. Same with J-Mo, among others. See, Bo, never underestimate the resilience of TK85. Yeah, and I wonder if he can get into the conversation. I don't think he's ultimately going to make it. He might make the practice squad, but that's just my opinion. Maybe we'll see something more. Anthony, good morning, Hookadoo. Grit, there you go. Don, Hooker looked as good as Caleb Williams, Jalen Daniels, maybe Drake, maybe. May, excuse me. Let's see, Bo, gotta love Bo Plan, man. The Bo Plan, man. There you go. Motor City, wow, Mr. Ed, you really got some hot takes. Okay. Don, Mr. Ed sounded like a hater. Yeah, well, it happens, man. Everybody has their opinion. Nothing wrong with it. Bo Pascal should have had several holding calls. Yeah, you can see the preseason. Let's not forget, it's preseason for the officials, too. That's probably the one real good thing about the preseason games is you get a lot of the officials working on nuances, newer guys moving to different positions, back judge, the sideline judge, etc. They get to work on that stuff before the games that matter because they're as human as anybody else. Motor City Polly, Hooker looked like he would have if we'd drafted him this year. He is not coming from a pro system. He played like that. He just needs practice. He's an amazing athlete. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of upside. Derek TK85 is always reliable. I would agree with that. Perry, man, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. One pride, same to you. Hopefully, it's an outstanding one. See, Derek, I think Hooker can be a good passer. He just needs to settle in. Yeah, he's probably got a lot of anxiety, nervousness right now. Every game that goes by, there'll probably be less. Anthony, I'm okay. Ed, go back and watch Hooker in college. He ran a version of the run and shoot, which I did love, by the way. J-Mo and St. Brown would get killed in that type of offense. Lions need an NFL pocket passer. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do at the quarterback position, if anything. See, Motor City, Paulie, what do you got? Remember when people were calling J-Mo a bust? He's the same. Yeah, it's the same impatience. There you go. Anthony, I'm more than excited to see our starters after watching our seconds and thirds play Kansas City's first top 10 defense this year. I think we might have, I don't want to speak in existence, but I think we might have a very good defense this year. I'll go with that. Very good defense. Dennis, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, back at you, Dennis. Here's Johnny. TK85 is reliable. A pro's pro. There he is, man. He's stuck around the league a lot longer than I originally thought he would, and that's a credit to him and all he's doing. Motor City Paulie, y'all think that Donovan Peoples-Jones gets cut right now? I've got him on the outside looking in. So, yes, he hasn't done enough for me to say I'm going to take Tim over a kid with more potential because he's younger and got apparently more upside. See, Anthony, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is gone. I concur. Perryman, yes, I feel his time has come. Yeah, it unfortunately just hasn't worked out for whatever reason. See, Anthony, to play like he has as a veteran is shameful. He knew he had an opportunity to really get a big role with this team this year, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened. So I hope it turns around for him, but it just doesn't seem to be working here. Donovan Peoples-Jones looks like an elderly person trying to get separation out there. That's the big thing. When you watch the tape don't lie. He's not generating any openings for quarterbacks to throw in. I will say this in defense of Nate Sudfeld. I know Sudfeld has taken a lot of heat from me and a lot of fans, but you look at some of the throws he's trying to make to some of these guys. They're not getting away from the cornerbacks. They're not causing any separation. He's also been off timing too. I get that. I'm not trying to exonerate the guy, but some of the throws are the receivers have got to break on the ball and get away from the defenders. Here's Johnny. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Houston are on the bubble. In your opinion, I agree on both. And it's unfortunate because obviously I want Houston to be here. See, Motor City Paulie laughing, 9 drinks. Holy crap, that is a super small, or is that just me? Is that super? It's probably a little small, but it's the best I could do in Microsoft Word while getting up on the screen. So sorry about that, guys. Let's see, Ryan, I know one thing. I'm over the behind the back pass by Holmes. NFL Network has replayed it 6,172 times. I agree. Yeah, I'm kind of overseeing it. Mo, I have faith in our coaching staff. Development is key. That's where I agree. If the coaching staff takes a younger player that's got a lot of potential and they're saying we're going to keep him, it's because they think they can get him to where they want him to be. Don, Ryan, exactly. Anthony, no kidding. How many times are they going to play it? Agreed on that. Nine Drinks, Broderick Martin would be a great fullback. Now, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Let's see, Motor City Pauly, that's the real Brad Holmes, Lions secret sauce, hiring great coaches and developing guys. I think you're onto something there. Don Martin at fullback would be a disaster. He's 6'6" and still plays too high. He's learning, though. He is learning, and maybe he can, add that to his repertoire. Let's see, Gary, good morning. All grit for life, exclamation point. Sudfield needs to go. Good to see Bates hits that game winner. Good simulation for him, 100%. And, he did some in the UFL. He's now doing it here. He's becoming more consistent. Sorry to clear my throat. Broski, cut Dan Skipper for the beta. Woo! In your intro, for a better woo in your intro. There you go. I don't know. I like the Skipper woo, man. It's so comical because he pulls it off so flatly. Let's see. Don Skipper said during your intro, "Hi, I'm Dan Skipper, Detroit Lions weapon." He is offensive weapon. Anthony, where do you have Pico? I have. Let's see. Let me pull it back up there. I think I've got him as a backup. Un momento. Let's see, where did I put him? Yeah, I've got him as the number 3 DTI, so interior defensive tackle. So the guy basically most responsible for controlling the gaps. So hopefully that helps. All right, back to the comment section we go. Broski, keep Dan Skipper. I love the intro. Woo! Me too, man. Me too. See, Bo, whatever happened to OBS? Yes, oh boy, I don't know. Non-Dan Skipper intro. Woo! Was horrible. Yes, it's so horrible. It's good, though. Here's Johnny. Kobe Scoresdale. There you go. Man, I got to clear my throat. Phil, good morning. Good morning to you, too. Looks like you got something new in your picture, and I'm not sure what it is. Don, see the only thing Houston has against these other guys, we've seen him against top-end first-string talent. He has, man, and I'm hoping he makes it. 9 Drinks. Don Bird is my birthday twin, October 3rd. I'm 77. He's 86, I think. Okay, good to know. And happy pre-birthday, by the way. And Great Lakes, good morning. So glad football is back. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones makes it. People are down on him, but if you look at the passes he's not catching, it's because they're not even close. He's not going to gadget. There you go. Dennis, I still hope we get a wide receiver and a defensive end. We might. Great Lakes, he's catching everything remotely close. I'll go with that. Larry, good mornings. Talented team and our practice squad will be pushing the starters for spots. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talent in the starting lineup, the backups, and like you're saying, Larry, even on the practice squad, there'll be guys, trying to catch the coach's eyes. See, here's Johnny. Donovan Peoples-Jones hasn't gotten open much, trusting in Coach Campbell and good general manager Brad Holmes. There you go. Don, a DE name to look out for is Josh Sweat, wide receiver, Traquan Stevenson as trades. There, I'll say we'll keep an eye open for him. Jack, I made it live. Woo! Well, Jack, welcome in to the live show, and thank you for making it in, my friend. See, Great Lakes, he's going to resign Hutch and McNeil and JMO to what he is doing there. Yeah, with the leftover money and the salary cap, yeah, those could definitely be targets there. Larry, I think Betts makes it somewhere in the mix. He will have a good showing. Yeah, he did have a pretty good showing. Now, can he beat out other people to make it? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. See, Thomas, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. I know I'm late, but can y'all explain Donovan Peoples-Jones? ? How is he playing this year? Didn't he step away from football last season? Donovan Peoples-Jones, in my opinion, he's on the struggle bus, man. He might not make the team, and maybe he does, but right now I would say it's real iffy. See, here's Johnny, 13-3-1. I would take that season. Brosi, did Dan just say since 1957 championship? Yeah, that was our last league championship. So I think this is the deepest team since then. So I could be wrong. I mean, there could be debates for the 91, maybe even the 93 team, because the 93 team was dang talented. They blew one coverage late in the game, and Brett Favre made them pay. Sterling Sharp in the back of the end zone. Oh, man. I was at that game reporting on it, and let me tell you, Nobody wanted to talk to the reporters afterwards. Let's see, Broski, Dan, 1957 is really old, but 1985 is 40 years ago also. Yeah, I mean, hey, but in the span of the universe, man, 57 to 85, that's not even half a second of time. See, Kurt, I'm here in the background cooking breakfast for the family. Well, make sure I get a plate too, my friend. Help me out. Help a brother out. Let's see, Phil, really old. Hey, really old is really old. Let's see, Jameer, what do you got? 14-3. I'm going to hold you to that. That would be a great record. Phil, some of us were born around that time. Yes, we were. Kurt, drop me off some sausage and eggs. There you go, with some hot sauce. All right, Bo, 14-3. I would accept that 100%. See, Great Lakes 10-7. Schedule is way too tough to do better. I do think we're back at the NFC Championship, though. I would go with that. I would probably live with that. Dimitri, what do you got? Kurt Steele, what's good, bro? Good morning. There you go. Hookadoo, 14-3. I would like that. See, Hooker time. There you go. Haven't seen you in a minute, man. Good to see you. All right, Chuck E. Cheese, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Lions look good. Did you see the skit where a dog bouncing a ball into a basket labeled with teams' logos? It had Lions over Houston for the Super Bowl. Let's go. Woo! I did not see that, but I think the dog knows all. All right, Dimitri, Don Burr, what up, though? Steven, what do you got? Love your content, but woos are still so stupid. Hey, some people like them, some people don't. Hey, you got to find the middle ground, I guess. Dimitri Flintstone, there you go, Flintstone. Great Lakes, I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live. Sheila Hamp, yeah, haha, woo, woo, F, there you go. And yes, Sheila Hamp apparently is a fan of the show. Don, we got Steven, they're laughing out loud. Dilbert, what do you got? Woo! Woo stink. There we go. Here's Johnny. Woo is an old Mountain Dew saying. It is. It is indeed. 100% there. Let's see. Joseph, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Go Lions. Get ready to win the Super Bowl in the Superdome. I think that is a great foretelling of the future. See, Phil, higher scoring game like last year, Chicago, a Vikings 3-0 game. Hey, they do want higher scoring games. It doesn't mean you don't have poor offensive games too. See me, Dimitri, what up, though? Dan, the Lions fam. Oh, yeah. Woo! There we go, Phil. We are all about the do here. Yes, we are. And Dilbert, woo! That's a big one. All right, Great Lakes. Laporta is like a number one wide receiver. Ben likes to spread the ball. We will be fine. Yeah, my guess is the Lions and the coaching staff have already talked about all this. Would they like some other guys to step up? Absolutely. But, if it doesn't, they probably got a game plan for that. Broski, Great Lakes, I'm thinking 9-8 for the Lions. All the teams in the division will finish 8 to 10 wins this season. I'll go with that. Here's Johnny. Watch those old dude commercials. I do sometimes. Great Lakes, nothing will happen till roster cuts. I'm betting. All right. Perryman, good morning, Duke Crew. All grit all day, one pride. Woo! There you go, Perryman. Great Lakes, the North is just way too tough, so I agree, Broski. I have to admit the Bears are a lot better, but maybe only 8 to 9 wins. Team, nice jump, though. We'll see. Sanders joined late. It happens, man. Hey, just glad you're here. Broski, Great Lakes, realistically, I'd say Detroit 11 wins, Packers 9, Bears 8, Vikings 6 wins. Okay, that's about I'd say within what most people think. See, Patrick, I like Hooker. A mobile quarterback comes in handy at times. Hooker is a pass first and run if necessary. He showed that last preseason game. Yes, I thought good performance for him. Same says Great Lakes, Perryman. Anyone else tried the new hard do? Not bad. I have not tried that yet. I'm so hungry this morning. Hey, time to get something to eat. Great Lakes, did you notice Glenn picking up blitzes in the second half? The whole game changed. Bring the heat this year, Glenn. Yeah, I think we're going to see a whole lot of that this year. Whole lot. Sanders joined late. Rewind, but checked out 53-man roster. Didn't see Betts on the team. No, I've got him currently on the outside looking in. He's close, but he's going to have to beat out somebody else. See, Great Lakes, Calhoun sealed the fate with this yet another turnover set. Yeah, Calhoun has not shown well. Detroit D, good greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you. Broski, Don Burr, I bet you're in the mood for a sausage. Oh, boy, here we go. All right, see, Southwest, good morning, Lions fans. Defense is better than that will make us the Super Bowl contender. I think you're right. I think we are going to be Super Bowl contenders this year. Detroit D, hit that like button, Duke Crew. Yes, if you would, please hit the like button. Like and subscribe button. Chuck E. Cheese, feel safe with Hooker if something happens. Yeah, Ben Johnson, if they keep him and they don't make an addition, that's a strong indication the coaching staff says, we believe in this guy. Kurt, I would give Legatron nickname to Gibbs. There you go. Different type of Legatron, but yeah, you could do that. See, Dimitri, do we need a backup quarterback? Hook shut everybody, this weekend. So get the off his back, haters. Dang, he's just a rookie. Yeah, he is just a rookie. And again, if they're going to keep him and not make an addition, that needs to tell us all the coaching staff believes in him. See, Don Broski, you're not crying this morning. That's a plus. Hey, that is a good plus. Hey, don't want to cry. I don't need the eggs, just the sausage. All right. Okay, kids. Oh, boy. Here we go. I couldn't have said it better myself. Don Burr, Hennon Hooker said hello to Vaki, too, 100%. Patrick, these Hooker haters must have watched a different game than I watched. Hooker went through his reads first, then took off. Yeah, he did. He did. I thought he looked pretty good out there. From first game to second game, good growth. Great Lakes, the Denver rookie quarterback looks legit. Yeah, he's having a pretty good start. Micro Mike, Dan. What up, Mike? How you doing? Let's see, Detroit D. Can't wait to see how Arnold and Rakeshaw perform weekend and week out. Yeah, I think we've got a real strong young secondary in play. See, Great Lakes, what up, Mike? Good show Saturday, 100%. Broski, Hooker still hasn't shown he is a legit NFL quarterback yet. He reminds me of Fields for minus the spread and slow Fields. But you can say that about every rookie there, Broski. You can say that about Caleb Williams. I love the guy, but until he gets into games and does it where people are actually game planning for him, can you say he's actually done it? See, Michael Mike, what up, Great Lake? Check Chase, how about Davis' 61-yard field goal? 61-yard TD, 100%. He showed some of that speed there, didn't he? See, Michael Mike Broski, what up, bro? Broski Bear, Don Burr, who is this Vaki referring to? Tell her I said hi. He is a pretty good backup running back right now. Jason Goff's health determines our destiny this season. I would say yes. Every starting NFL quarterback is going to be relying on that. Paul, man, I wish they'd really give Tom Kenny a shot. I think he really underrated. He might get it this year. This would be a good year for it. Broski, Lions Talk by Chat Sports. Hey, good morning. There you go. Great Lakes, Hooker looked great, I thought, second game and only a half. Yeah, I hope they give him 75% of the final game. Bo, morning, Micro Mike. Let's see. Vernal, what do you got? The Detroit Lions beat Kansas City their first game of the year last year, and they beat Kansas City preseason game with Mahomes and Kelsey. No excuses this time. Kelsey played. This is also true. Broski Lions Talk, just a heads up. There's a fake Broski account here. Apparently, I have fans. Bo Booth, what's up? Let's see. Micro Mike, I know Broski, someone is faking you. I know you're no troll. There you go. Don, I don't know which Broski. But the Chicago Teddy Bear fans. Real Broski is cool. Let's see. Kurt Steele by Chat Sports. What up, though, Mike? You're up early. Yes, this is early for Mike. Don the Goat. Whoa, what's up? There you go. Broski Bear, our Lions fan. Yeah, skip them all. All right, guys, I'm going to go and get out of here. I got to get the kiddo to camp this morning, so just get a couple more of that haven't been in here. All these people crying because Hooker is a dual threat quarterback is pathetic. I would be happy we've had one for a change. If look closely, he's a pocket passer with the ability to run. Yeah, reminds me a lot of Mike McMahon when he was with the Lions, and I wish they would have kept him instead of getting Joey Harrington. All right, Lions Super Bowl 2024. Good morning, bro. There you go. Let's see. Anybody else? Going. All right. I'm trying to catch up through Danotron. There you go. I'll take that. Chuck, what do you got? The 90s teams could not pick up thirds and without passing. Yeah, without that. I agree with that. There was a correlation there. All right, Joseph, see everybody tomorrow. 100%. Ken, think O-line was a lot better this week. 100% there. 100% better. See, happy trails, one pride. Kurt Steele, my premiere is starting to see you guys over there. Yeah. All right. We'll get you guys over to Kurt Steele and the Ball Up, Boss Out podcast. If you guys can hop on over there. If there is some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it to you guys as quick as possible. But other than that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 70 away from 7,400. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. Oops, locking up here. Oh, boy, what's going on? All right, we'll see you guys later.